Aynı tutkuyu paylaşıyoruz, aynı heyecanı paylaşıyoruz. Yaklaşık 30 yıldan beri basın sektörünün içindeyim, motorsporları basının içindeyim. Çok fazla röportaj yaptım, çok insanla konuştum. Çok değişik seviyelerde insanlarla konuştum ama bugünkü röportaj hakkında bir şey söylemek istiyorum. Bugün bir motosiklet devinin CEO'suyla röportajımın ilk bölümünü yayınlıyorum. Ama burada lütfen koltuğa takılmayın, burada makama, ünvana takılmayın. Çünkü karşımda bir motosiklet tutkunu, bir motosiklet aşığı var ve 1,5 saatlik sohbetinize doyamadım. Gerçekten bunu bir motosiklet konusunda deneyimli bir abinin kardeşiyle yaptığı söyleşi gibi düşünün. Ve bunun ayarlanmasında çok açık söylüyorum tamamen kişisel ilişkilerimin yardımı oldu. Hatta Yamaha Motor Türkiye bunu öğrendiği zaman biz röportajı ayarlamıştık bile ve çok sağ olsunlar. Onlar da çok sevindiler, heyecanla bekliyorlar şu anda. O yüzden şunu söylemek istiyorum. Bu iki motosiklet tutkunun sohbeti. Bir tanesi çok daha deneyimli. 2 kez Dakar'a katılmış. Çöllerde kalmış. Çok hikaye olan. Zor şartlarda yarışmış. Endurance yarışlarına girmiş. Zaten hikayeni kendisi anlatıyor. Ve daha sonra bir dünya devinin Avrupa CEO'su olmuş. Ama dediğim gibi o bir motosiklet tutkunu, o bir motosiklet aşığı. Ve ben bunun montajını yaparken her saniyesinden çok büyük keyif aldım. Her saniyesinden çok şey öğrendim, çok şey kaptım kendime. O yüzden size bunu sunmak istiyorum. Bir de yani şöyle bir şey vardır ya, bir aşçı asla kendi yemediği yemeği müşterisine sunmaz. Bizim sizlere kafa yapımızın çok yakın olduğunu biliyorum. Hepimiz motosiklet tutkunuyuz, hepimiz motosiklet aşığız. Ve uzun zamandan beri motosiklet konusunu ihmal ettiğini de biliyorum kanalda. Çok otomobilci oldu ama öyle bir isim geliyor şimdi karşınıza. Gerçekten ben çok keyif aldığım için bu keyfi sizlerle yaşamak istiyorum. Hiç böyle bir giriş yapmamıştım daha önce programa ama bu kez buna uygun gördüm. Çünkü Seynes muhteşem bir adam. Motosiklet tutkunu, motosiklet aşığı, hayatını buna adamış bir insan. Ve bir markanın başındaki insan olarak değil de sizin bizim gibi bu işe gönlünü vermiş bir insan olarak dinlerseniz çok daha fark anlayacaksınız. Kendisiyle bir rakı masası sözü de aldık. Ben önerdim. O da son bölümde cevabını göreceksiniz. İşte şimdi karşınızda Yamaha Avrupa Motosiklet'in CEO'su Seynes. Topspeedchannelturkiye Türkiye'de bu haftanın konuğu Yamaha Motosiklet Avrupa'nın CEO'su ve genel merkezde Yamaha'da yönetim kurulunda olan yapın olmayan ilk yönetim kurulu üyesi karşımızda Monsieur Seynes. How are you, Monsieur Seynes?
Yeah, very good. Out of COVID story, everything is going well.
Okay, how did you pass the COVID times? You were working or you spend your time at home riding?
Honestly, it has been quite a tough period where we were all connected together. Obviously, our headquarter office have been closed during 6 weeks, so we are all working from home. But fortunately, we were all connected, very much motivated, because we had a very strong start of the year. At the end of February, we were growing by more than 25%. And unfortunately, the COVID arrived. But the motivation of all the teams everywhere in all countries was very strong. And I spent a lot of time to be directly connected with our local staff, dealers, and I never travel so much with my computer, being connected with Germany, Portugal, Turkey, Spain, Italy, everywhere. So, you know, it's always the same. When you have to face a crisis, this is in that moment that you know the strongness of your team, the strongness of your organization, the true motivation of your collaborators. And thanks to that, we could finally manage not so badly the period. And now the market are restarting strongly. So we all are in a race, which is to recover the figures of last year at minimum. And we trust that we can win that race. We'll see.
Yeah, you mean the race? Yes, the life is a race, and I know you are connected to motorsports since very long time, and I want to ask you about the past motorsport days because this is a motorsport channel also. But I will ask you questions about the Yamaha products that I use so much. And can you tell us about your past in motorsport? I know you entered the Dakar Rally and you made many races. So after this history in motorsports, being a CEO of Yamaha is a great way of to show your passion. So can you tell us about Dakar days because it's very important for me as you see here.
Yeah, I can see your attachment to the race. First of all, I would like to thank Yamaha, and I would like to thank my passion for motorcycle, because I could build up all my life just following my passion, in respect with a correct business application, in respect with also, I will say, always supporting people around me. And I think that due to the sincerity of this passion, the sincerity of our motorcycle world, I could finally do this itinerary in my life. I have been starting to race when I was 15 years old, and thanks to my passion for racing, I did a lot of jobs when I was a boy, because my parents never wanted to support financially my passion. So they said, okay, we don't want that you race on motorcycle, too dangerous. However, if you do with your money, we cannot say anything. Then I did any kind of job just to get money. And at the end, I could pay for my first races, but I was not in the perfect conditions, because just as a memory, but my first season of races, I was going on the track by train. So my bike was on the train, and I was going with my backpack after the school and just going to the station, and then I was pushing the bike from the station to the track. So sometimes when you go to Paul Ricard and you arrive in Toulon, it's like 30 kilometers. So impossible to push the bike 30 kilometers. So I was arriving in the middle of the night, then no police. Then I was pushing out of the city, and then after starting the engine to go up to the track without any insurance, no light, nothing, and just to be arrived at 6 or 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock qualification race. So it was a bit tough, difficult to make fantastic results in these conditions, but you learn a lot. And I learned a lot from racing experience. And I think this is, my parents gave me a very nice gift, which was to leave me alone to make my experience. So I raced a lot between 15, 16, 17 years old until 23, without any result, significant result, but getting a lot of experience. And I try with road racing first, and then I try endurance, and then I shift to enduro, and then I shift to Dakar, because I was looking the class where perhaps I could make a better result. So I try everything. And finally I land on the Dakar, because I love the adventure, I love the travels. And in these years, because I have been participating 2 times in the Dakar, 82 and 84, so it was just the 3rd or the 4th edition of the Dakar, and it was in that time a true adventure, with a race, with a classification at the end. But we did not have any satellite, any GPS, any connection, any radio, anything, and the distance of the legs were quite long.
Yes.
And because I was perhaps too reasonable, I select my bike was a 250cc, just for one reason. First, I had no assistance.
Yes.
So I prepare myself, I did all the mechanic of my bike, and I did the first race, which was the Tunisia Rally. And unfortunately, I did a fantastic result on that rally, because I finished 3rd as a non-professional rider. And so podium, and I won I don't know, the trophy of the future. I was the youngest guys at the end. I was just 20 years old. And then I thought, now my career will start. It's my team. And I tried to prepare to improve the preparation of the bike. And I did all the mistakes you can do, which means that from the reliable, genuine part, you try to get 2% more performance, and you have non-reliable parts, difficult, and then you start to make the mistake. And then the Dakar has been, I've been suffering really during the Dakar, because every day I had a technical problem. And when you have to drive a 250, and you have a stage like Tit Timeyawin, which was the south of Algeria before to go to Mali, it was 1,083 kilometers length in one day. With a 250, you suffer. Suffer. Yes. And because it has been 26 hours of ride. So I arrived the day after, 3 hours after my start. I was supposed to stop. Even you arrive, and you have Thierry Sabine who shout on you, "What are you doing? You were supposed to start 3 hours ago." Yeah, you did not hit anything for 2 days. You have to do your mechanic before to restart for another leg of 850 kilometers.
More.
So
yes.
Next one. So honestly, I abandoned after 8 days of race because I had a problem of oil leakage. Coming from the gear sprocket. I mean, the rubber has been finally arranged for. It's another story, but then finally the engine was over, and I had no alternative. So no assistance, no engine, nothing. So and then it took me 2 weeks to be back to France, going from one village to the next one and to the next one, and I spent 14 hours in the desert hoping that the truck will see me, because then suddenly you feel alone. And also I realized that I was totally out of consciousness, because you were obliged by the organization to get 5 liters of water on the bike. But because I had no assistance, I had 3 liters of oil and 2 liters of water. And every morning I was showing to the scruterer, this is my 5 liters. Fortunately, he never asked me, please drink this one, because I was obliged to drink oil. But then I was going for 26 hours in the desert with 2 liters of water, no food, and just energy of the youngness, just I will do it. And I realized when I have been stopped that I was alone, and fortunately a car competitor stopped and asked me if I have food, and I realized that I have no food. So he gave me a minimum of food and 1 liter of water. But when you wait 14 hours alone, and you know that the track is very wide, like 1 or 2 kilometers wide, you realize that perhaps the truck will not see you in the dark, in the night.
Yes.
And then you are alone, and you don't know where you are, and what can be the next. So finally, when the truck arrived, I was very happy. But all my asset, all my capital was my bike. So the truck driver say, "Okay, guy, you can jump in the truck, but your bike stay there." I say, no, impossible. Impossible. He said, "Oh, okay. If you want, you stay with it. You decide." Then I jump on the truck, and I have been asking to get out of the truck for the next village, and the next village was 65 kilometers far. And I jump out, and then I start to deal to find a car to go back on the track to pick up my bike, and then after there are many stories. But the Dakar in these years was a true adventure, and it was not a dreaming adventure like sometimes we see in the book. In the book, the story are always nice. The reality was much tougher, honestly, because when you were independent rider, you were obliged to protect yourself. You have to manage your race. And then even in the night when you were asking to another competitor, can you give me your screwdriver? No, I sleep. I don't care. It was very individualist because everybody knew that we have to survive for another day, for another day, for another day until perhaps Dakar. But so it was, honestly, I learned a lot about myself in this Dakar experience. Because you speak to your bike, you speak to yourself, you think about a lot of things, because you know that you have to take care. The environment is not so sympathetic, and you have just to manage hour after hour, miles after miles, and yeah, it was a nice experiment because I was just 21 years old, and it has been a strong experience, and then I did it a second time in '84 with one of my friends, and then after I've got married and I had to start to work. So I could always manage my race activity in parallel with my studies, and I think it has been a big chance because when I have been working with Jean-Claude Olivier was the president of France, and we have been working together during more than 20 years. But every time we were discussing about racing, we had a different angle about racing because he has been racing, but always with an official bike. He was supported by Yamaha, by Sonoto Yamaha, the importers. When I raced myself, I was pure private rider, always in the back of the grid, doing a lot of sacrifice just to be there. So when you race like that, already to be there at the start of the race is already a victory because you did a huge effort and you are there and you can race with the champions. So I know, and I have always respected and never forget all the sacrifice the private riders have to do to race. And this is why even today, when I visit a race, it can be an endurance race, superbike, any race, I always start to visit the grid from the back. And I go to the last Yamaha riders to say, congratulations, all the best for your race. Because I know the value for these guys to be there. Obviously, if Toprak is pole position, I will not miss Toprak. But at least I always take care of the guys in the back of the grid. Because without these private riders, competition will not exist. We have to protect them.
Yes, exactly. But when I listen to you, you came before the Turkey, I know. Maybe you try our special drink, rakı. You know what is rakı? This is a special Turkish drink. It's the drink that you put on the water and it became white.
Yeah.
So when we do that drink, so you are the kind of guy that make the conversation in the rakı table. That means beautiful conversation, beautiful stories. So this is so nice to hear because after riding to Dakar in my moto and living all that adventures as a young rider, now you understand maybe the others, the importance and the meaning of Blue Crew. So open a gate, open a future for the young riders. But I will come to Blue Crew. But before I want to ask you about Kando.
I think Kondo philosophy is really, we say that we want to touch the heart of our customers, of our riders, of our users. And in reality, it's the motivation of our engineers and the motivation of our product planners. And I have been working since 1990 on product planning on Yamaha. So honestly, what we try to do always is to think from the beginning as a rider and to consider that motorcycle, the value of motorcycle are linked to freedom, emotion, and the way you can be connected with your bike. You enjoy to ride a motorcycle when finally you are so much connected that the bike is just answering to what you want to experience. And you can always predict the reaction of the bike and then you play with it. This is when you are finally enjoying to ride. When you have not the skillness and you ride a too much powerful bike and you cannot control, and you take the brake, it seems hard, and the suspension is hard because you have not the level of the bike, then you suffer. What we want to develop is bike will give pleasure to the riders. Because there is, you know, there is one taboo in motorcycle, is that motorcycle is dangerous. We know that. There is a risk. When you ride a motorcycle, you have a risk. You wear a helmet, so usually when you put a helmet, it's because there is a risk. It's not a problem. But at least you must get the value of the risk you take. I don't want to take any risk if it's to get a boring experience. Mm-hmm. In that case, I stay home, I look the television is better. Yeah. If I assume to take a minimum of risk, hey, I want to get some pleasure back. And for me, this is the equation of motorcycle. I don't understand when some of our competitors are just playing to make a mobility solution. Yeah, but it's a risky mobility solution. I would like to provide a pleasant mobility solution where you can enjoy. And finally, it's not only a solution, it's also a good time you can spend on your bike. So this is the philosophy of Yamaha. And what I love and what I always try to evaluate when I test the prototype on the test circuit of Yamaha, I always try to see if I understand the personality of the bike, the character of the bike. The bike communicates with me and give me some information, some feeling. And also the second point is that the bike must also always serve the rider, which means that when you ride a super sport bike, and I remember very clearly the last time I could test our competitors and our R1, I'm always impressed by the fact that every time you ride competitors' bike, you have to be a minimum prudent at the beginning to understand when you push the bike, how it will react. Mm-hmm. And some are very aggressive. Why not? But very aggressive. And suddenly you are, I don't know, a third gear. I remember with I will not say the brand, but third gear, very good bike. And then you arrive, pop, you open, and then, oh yeah! And suddenly between 11 and 14,000, super aggressive, ejecting you from out of the corner. If you are experienced, okay, manageable. If you are not, well, could be dangerous. What I like is when you ride the R1, you open, you have the full traction control, wheelie control, and then you control. Also with the torque we have with the cross-plane technology, is super progressive, good motricity, you keep the control. Even if at the end the speed is very similar, but the way you experience the riding of the bike is different. And this is, for me, it can be a NMAX 125, it can be a MT 125 or a Tracer 9. We must always respect these emotional values. This is how we build up our project. I'm always thinking that I prefer to get poor customer. I don't want to look for rich customers. If they are rich, why not? But I want to respect the guys who do not have the money enough to pay normally this kind of bike. And we have to respect. I'm sorry, but I do not follow at all my competitors who say, oh, we don't care about bikes under 10,000 euro. Oh, it's up. We want to be the Audi of motorcycle. Go. But it's not my job. No. The motorcycle, this is not correct. We have to welcome newcomers. We don't have to reject, and we don't have to be elitist. We have to be with the arms fully open. Welcome. And for me, guys who come, because, you know, when I was true customer, not in the business, I always bought only used motorcycle. I could never offer myself a new bike. So I know when you have to buy a used bike, you have a maximum budget, you cannot overpass. So I try to make my new bikes the most affordable possible, to make the dream possible for the guys who were looking for a used bike machine. So we have always to respect the value of the product. So, and for me, this is also in the Kendo philosophy. We have to be transparent. We have to be pure. We have to be motivated to share our passion and to make our product for the best, but also accessible for the best.
And also I can see that visual identity project. So the 60% of the Turkish Yamaha dealers, they are prepared for this, for a better service and also satisfaction for Yamaha customers. But in the middle of that, the COVID crisis came, and now maybe we have another type of customer, more smart customer. They respect the social distance. Maybe they want to make more e-commerce. So any plans of any preparation from Yamaha, I want to ask about that for the new kind of smart customers.
You know, for me, all customers are smart. They have different motivations. They have different level of expectation, but they know why they want to buy. And we have to respect any motivation. So what we try to do is to help our dealers to improve their capacity to serve our customers in respect with their true motivations. And all the new VI, all the new approach of the business is based on a very simple principle, which is that Yamaha try to satisfy the three different profile of customers we have. And, you know, to be understood, you need to be simple. I never trust super complex marketing strategy where the guy thinks he's a genius, but at the end, you are totally lost. So you have to think as a customer. And this is why myself, I always ride motorcycle. I never stop. I continue to buy even used bike. I continue to spend my money with motorcycle because.
I'm sorry, they don't give you free the bikes from.
No. And also because I like to keep my memories alive, I continue to chase some old bike so I am always a customer. I continue to act as a customer. And I think it's very important. In our business, you must keep your clear mind as a customer. And finally, we select just three motivations to buy a motorcycle. You have the customers who need, because of commuting, transportation, and they need their motorcycle. At home, they cannot have two cars. They have one car and a scooter and something else, which is a two-wheeler. You have the customers who love. It's a part of them. They're a part of their character, motivation of life, leisure time. They invest time for leisure with motorcycle. And you have the customers who race with the motorcycle. And we build up all our services, training to the dealers, merchandising, new VI, in respect with these three fundamental different motivations. Yeah. If you want to buy a YZ250, YZF250, or R3 to race, or just to ride on track days, you don't need a full road assistance 24 hours a day. Why you will have to pay for this assistance if you never use? So for me, the guys who want to race, we don't need. But we need to propose for a X-Max 250 because the guy will use on a daily basis and there is a true value. So we have to reverse and not to think like, I have my brand, this is my law, this is how I see the world, come to me. No, we think, I am a customer, what do I need? And luckily, I am the manufacturer, so I can organize to satisfy this customer. This is the way we think. And this is the way we have been evolving in the merchandising, in the VI, and in the way we are helping our customers and dealers to be connected. So actually, we are working also on e-commerce, but not to do e-commerce alone. I want to do e-commerce on behalf of my dealer. And even if my dealer will not see the customer who want to order on internet, I will give him back a commission because I know that this customer one day or the other will push the door of this dealer. and he wants to be proud. He wants to be happy about what this customer has bought on internet. So for me, internet, the responsibility of the brand is to serve the customers as to serve the dealers, to be even easily connected together. So we are developing that. We did already some pilot case in Netherlands and Italy, and now we are spreading. So Germany has just joined this month. France will join in June. And we have also Portugal and Poland. So we are spreading step after step, and the turn of the Turkey will come. But we always want to propose these new services in partnership with dealer network. We are one. For me, my best ambassadors with my customers is my dealer.
Yes.
So my first customer is my dealer. So I have to serve my dealer for the best. If I want him to serve my customer for the best, he must be happy. So I always say in the company that my first responsibility is to make people happy, to make my distributors happy, to make my dealers happy. And then if everybody understands what we do and they feel comfortable with our brand, they will welcome, they will serve, they will satisfy our customers. And we will be stronger all together.
So at the end, we are just turning and coming back to kind of philosophy. So somewhere. And also in that question, I understand one thing, that if you are a Yamaha CEO, you cannot get the bike for free, right?
No, sure.
Okay.
No.